Good morning, everybody. Oop, I'm a little too close. Good morning. That better, Bear? Thank you. That was just to get your attention. Could you start taking a seat, please? Because we're going to start in just a few minutes. My favorite part. Diversity here at the Ethical Society. Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Dan Overman, and my pronouns are he and him. I'm honored to be your host today for today's platform at the Ethical Society of St. Louis. The Ethical Society is an ethical humanist congregation where people come together to explore big questions, inspire ethical living, and work toward a more just, kind, and compassionate world. We are so glad that you're here with us today. Whether you're a longtime member or joining us for the very first time, you are welcome. This year, our programs are designed to dive deeper into shared beliefs, exploring how our values guide us, how they connect us, and how they shape the way we live and act. This fall, our theme is the power of us. As humanists, we believe positive change comes from human efforts, and we carry a shared responsibility to work together for the good of all, building a world shaped by justice, compassion, care, joy, and meaning. Please take a moment to silence your devices so that we can stay present together during the presentation. Everybody got their devices all? Good, good. Thank you for being here and being a part of our community and thought, care, and action. This morning, we are thrilled to be joined by two musicians who have been with us several times before, Hannah Fry and Michaela Talasek. Hannah is a violinist and educator who performs widely across the St. Louis area, including with the Perseid Quartet, the Metropolitan Orchestra of St. Louis, the Bach and the Bach Society. She has also appeared with the St. Louis Symphony and many major productions across the region. Michaela Talasek is a violist and violinist who has performed with the orchestras across the country. Here in St. Louis, she plays with ensembles such as the St. Louis Chamber Soloists, the Metropolitan Orchestra, and she teaches at Webster University's Community School and several local programs. Please join me in welcoming Hannah and Michaela as they begin with Duo for Violin and Viola, Opus 208, Adagio Sostenuto, Allegro non tanto by Johann Kaliwoda. Now that's a mouthful. And I almost got through it. Roughly translated, though. This is a piece that moves from a very thoughtful, intentional opening into a lively dialogue between the two instruments. And that's not just what was written on here. I looked it up on the internet, too. Well, I think that was everything and more of what the description told us about. So thank you so much. For many years, the Ethical Society has supported a wide range of local performers and enjoyed a tradition of musical excellence. Even this auditorium, designed with its remarkable natural acoustics, is a testament to our community's deep commitment to great music. Today, we take another exciting step in that tradition. To share an important announcement about the future of our music program, please join me in welcoming our Executive Director of Community Experience, Claire Alexander. I'm sorry, I made it smaller so we're filling the page.
That's totally fine. Hi, good morning. I remembered my baby today, but I did not remember my contacts, so bear with me if I squint a bit. But I am thrilled to announce the hiring of our new music director, Michael Engelhardt. Mike is a songwriter, composer, producer, and vocal director on a mission to make a positive impact on people's lives. His work has been featured on ABC, NBC, PBS, and NPR broadcasts, the Carnegie Hall stage, and multiple national conferences. His choral music is widely published, and he's collaborated with artists such as Ben Folds, Take Six, Kansas, Patty Austin, and Michael McDonald. Ooh, ah. In addition to his new role with us, Mike serves on the faculty at Webster University. He and his wife Meg and their 2 children are delighted to join our community. I couldn't be happier to support Mike's vision for the future of our music programs. His ideas for building meaningful connections with both the St. Louis community and the broader ethical and humanist movements are bold, inspiring, and full of promise. While he's getting acclimated, we can best support him by giving him space to connect with our people and our programs, allowing him to design music experiences that reflect our values and advance our mission. For now, let's simply say, Mike, we're so glad you and your family are here. Welcome to the Ethical Society of St. Louis. Mike, are you with us this morning? Right over here. Thanks, Mike. Mike's going to have to pop out because he actually has a performance with his Webster kids today where they're collaborating with local St. Louis musicians. But you'll see him around the building over the next several Sundays, and I hope you'll say welcome to him. Okay, thank you.
Of course, I know that all of you have the big burning questions, as I do, that remains on our plate. Will Mike be able to ultimately induce our audience to sing along together aloud? Many have tried, but with little success. Rumor has it that this might have occurred in 1901. However, this achievement is noted in the records with an asterisk because it was a happy birthday chant for Walter Sheldon. Each week, we read our youth education core values as a way to bring us together and remind us of our shared commitments. Today is extra special because we're kicking off our youth programs for the year. Enrollment is now open and free throughout the month of September. So if you know a young person or a family who might enjoy being a part of this community, I encourage you to make a personal invitation to join you here on Sunday this month. So this morning, our core values reader is Rush Williams. Please join me in welcoming Rush.
Every person is important and unique. Every person deserves to be treated fairly and kindly. I can learn from everyone. I am a part of this earth. I cherish it and all the life upon it. I learn from the world around me by using my senses, mind, and feelings. I am a member of the world community, which depends on the cooperation of all people for peace and justice. I can learn from the past to build for the future. I am free to question. I am free to choose what I believe. I accept responsibility for my choices and actions. I strive to live my values.
Thank you, Rush. While these values are at the heart of our youth program, they're just as pertinent and meaningful for all of us as well. At this time, our young people are invited to head downstairs to continue their programs. We wish them a wonderful start to the new year of learning and growing. Just a heads up for you parents, when my children went through the Sunday school, their favorite values were, I am free to question, and I'm free to choose what I believe. So beware. It's now time for opening words, a chance to hear directly from one of our fellow Ethical Society members. Each week, a member of our community shares something meaningful to them, a story, a reflection, an experience, or an interest. It's one of the ways we deepen our connections and learn more about one another as individuals. Please join me in welcoming Kyle Nienhaus.
Good morning. May the humanity that is within every human being be held more and more precious and be regarded with ever-deepening reverence. My name is Kyle Nienhaus, and my pronouns are he, him. My adjectives are hairy and weird. And as a philosopher, my inquiries are how come and what for. And then, of course, and then what happens? I am delighted to see so many new faces recently, and so would like to share some thinking tools for humanists, new and old alike. It ain't easy being humanist. Some things are, of course. Some things about being humanists are so easy as to seem obvious and foolproof. Be kind, be curious, be gracious, be generous, seek scientific understanding, seek justice, seek a better world, oppose the American Nazi regime, and just as well, oppose the Israeli genocide of Palestinians. Anyone can do these things. However, here I'd like to aid in understanding the difference between humanism and religion, and likewise, ethical societies and churches. The most glaringly obvious difference is that humanists are not God-focused, but, get this, humanity-focused. The big, scary A word, atheism, has a tendency to shunt one's thinking into a prejudiced, narrow corridor, one way or another. Rather, it is professed in humanist writings, values, and charters that, as a policy, we are simply non-theistic. And here I'd like to point out why. The answer is simple, but it takes some explaining. God is the worst explanation. An explanation is an assertion about reality, but how do we know if an explanation is true? Without taking us too far afield this morning, let it suffice to say that a good explanation is hard to vary the details of, while bad explanations are easily variable. A quick example, why are there seasons? The good explanation we have is the axial tilt theory, the details of which cannot be varied without the explanation collapsing, such as the hemispheres being out of phase, our understanding of heat radiation, angular momentum. An example of a bad explanation would be the ancient Greek myth that during winter, Demeter, goddess of the earth, is sad. Any supernatural reason could be varied under that explanation. So if the one true Christian God is infinitely variable, then it is indeed the worst possible explanation you could have to any question you could pose. Even probabilistic fundamental quantum physics have rules, but God can manifest magic by breaking those rules with miracles, so it's explained. With this, we can sweep away God and Pascal's wager, along with all assertions claimed by religions via this bad explanation, such as that religions know the will of God, their morality is the only true, correct one, and that they are the source of the numinous human experience of awe, all of which is total bullshit. I know it might not sound very polite, but there is no polite way to suggest to someone that they have dedicated their lives to a delusion. The only way that we can claim to be being human together, like it says on our sign, is by becoming human together. And that's not always easy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Well said, Kyle. Thank you. Let's welcome Hannah and Michaela back to the stage for their next piece. They'll perform Idle by Charles Ketchlin, a gentle lyrical work that captures a sense of quiet beauty and reflection. Once again, thank you so much. That was just terrific. Before our main address, we like to take a moment for mindfulness. I suspect it's been an emotionally very difficult week for many of us, and sometimes our minds feel crowded with thoughts and worries. I invite you now to clear a little space. Let your shoulders relax, soften your gaze, and close your eyes, and bring your attention to your breath. Take a special notice of the steady rhythm of your inhalation and exhalation. With each breath, let yourself feel a little more grounded and a little more present. We'll take 1 minute together. All right, thank you. Our speaker this morning is Louise Jett. Her pronouns are she and her, a trained ethical culture leader through the American Ethical Union. Louise is highly active in both the ethical culture and humanist movements, and she's a sought-after speaker at communities and conferences across the country. She's an educator, community organizer, and storyteller who approaches challenges with optimism and care. For more than a decade, she taught at the college level, facilitated Restorative Justice Community Circles, and built a career in communications and design. She now serves as a statewide branding manager for the state of Illinois, as well as for our own creative director at the Ethical Society of St. Louis. Louise brings together professional expertise and a deep commitment to humanist values, qualities that inspire and strengthen communities like ours. Please join me in warmly welcoming Louise Jett.
I feel like I should say Claire wrote that introduction, and she did a wonderful job. So good morning, everyone. Let me get situated here. Here we go. Good morning. As Dan said, my name is Louise Jett. My pronouns are she and her. I'm an ethical culture leader. That's like an ordained humanist minister. So just kind of explain that lingo. Thank you for joining us today. In a world where lies are used to shape our views, I want to begin with honesty. I am afraid. It's only natural to feel fear about speaking with compassion and clarity in a climate where cruelty and division shout the loudest. Right now, simply living our values, dignity, truth, and solidarity can feel risky. Naming fascism feels dangerous. But historian and author of On Tyranny, Timothy Snyder, tells us the greatest danger is denial and silence. Pretending fascism cannot happen here when it is clearly happening now. Our values and our democracy are under attack. Books are being banned, elections are being compromised, teachers are being silenced. Voting and reproductive rights are under attack, and whole communities are being scapegoated as enemies. These are not random events. These are tactics of fascism. Scholars tell us fascism always follows a pattern. First, it creates a sense of crisis, convincing people the nation is in decline or under attack. Second, it promises restoration, a return to some mythic golden age that never really existed. Third, it demands obedience, loyalty to a leader or to an in-group over fairness and truth. And lastly, it suppresses pluralism, silencing dissent, erasing diversity, punishing difference. And then it concentrates power, weakening courts, the free press, civic groups, and any institution that might resist. Sound familiar? I'm naming these dangers not to invoke despair, but to give our situation clarity, because hope begins with truth. And hope that inspires action is what we must cultivate together if we are to resist cruelty and protect our democracy. So today I ask, what does humanist hope look like in the face of fascism? Real, grounded, embodied hope that grows from compassion, from organizing, from daring to imagine something better, and from acting on that vision together. Hope is hard for me sometimes. There are mornings when I wake up and the news makes me feel paralyzed. Richard Adams, in his novel Watership Down, gave that state of being a name: Tharn. Rabbits frozen in headlights, unable to move. That is what fear does to me. It makes me freeze up, unsure of what to do. Maybe it does this for you too. If so, you're not alone. In Watership Down, Adams tells the story of rabbits forced to leave their destroyed warren and search for a new home. Along the way, they encounter two very different versions of community. One, ruled by General Woundwort, is built on violence and fear. Safety only at the cost of freedom. Rabbits survive there by submitting, by keeping their heads down, by living in terror. The other community, led by Hazel, is fragile at first, but rooted in trust, creativity, and care. It survives not through force, but through cooperation. This tale is more than a story about rabbits. It's a story about us, about the choices every community faces when confronted with danger. Will we live in Woundwort's world where power crushes dignity? Or will we build and protect Hazel's world where solidarity and imagination sustain us? Hope is not something we carry alone. Hope is something we practice together. Fascism thrives on loneliness and mistrust, making us feel we're safer in silence, safer when we keep our heads down. But silence and isolation are the soil where authoritarianism grows. Fear divides us, but despair, it isolates us completely. Ethical humanism offers another path. It insists that hope is born in connection, that community is our mission, that the bonds we build with one another are not just comforting, they are acts of resistance. Community organizing is key to fighting fascism. Think again of Hazel's warren in Watership Down. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't even secure, but it was alive with imagination, trust, and care. That fragile beginning grew stronger precisely because the rabbits believed in one another. They didn't just survive, they flourished because their hope was shared. That is the work before us, to build communities that embody hope, to form circles of trust that resist fear, to act not as isolated individuals, but as people bound together by dignity, solidarity, and love. And here's the thing, hope is contagious. It multiplies when we gather. It grows louder when we sing, stronger when we organize, and brighter when we refuse to abandon one another. As humanists, we're free to question when propaganda tells us lies. We strive to live our values when those in power insist on blind compliance. We affirm the inherent dignity and worth of all people when human rights are under attack. This is humanism in action, refusing despair, choosing truth, living our values out loud, even when fear tries to coax us into silence. Being in community with one another, supporting each other, striving together, this is the antidote to fascism. This is the power of us. The Ethical Society is the perfect place to turn hope into action against authoritarianism. Elizabeth McLaughlin of the Ripple Effect Institute, has laid out 5 ways that we can fight fascism right now. First, build local power. Join or start a neighborhood group. Organize through your communities. Democracy is strongest from the ground up. At the Ethical Society, you'll find groups and teams that help you channel your energy into meaningful local projects, turning shared values into real community change. We can also amplify truth, support trusted journalism, share verifiable facts when lies are being spread, practice media literacy, speak plainly and kindly, even when it's hard. Here, you're surrounded by people who practice honest, respectful dialogue and share reliable information, giving you both the courage and the tools to push back against lies. We also need to show up in our civic lives. Vote, yes, but also attend meetings, hearings, listening sessions. Visibility matters. Presence changes rooms. As a part of this community, you'll never have to show up alone. Whether it's a town hall, a school board meeting, or service project, we can stand together to make our presence felt. We also need to hold institutions accountable. Write letters, make calls, ask questions, file public records requests, support watchdog groups, expect integrity, demand it, and say it out loud. Within the Ethical Society, we can create resources to write letters, make calls, and take action together so your voice carries further and louder than it could alone. We need to protect vulnerable communities, stand beside those targeted by discrimination, neglect, and violence. Safety, dignity, and freedom must be for all, or none of us are truly free. Our teams and service projects create concrete ways to stand beside those who are targeted, turning our values of dignity and fairness into lived solidarity. These 5 ways are clear and practical, but when challenges feel heavy, even 5 can feel like too much. If so, pick just one thing, one practice, one step. It doesn't have to be big. In fact, the smallest ripples grow into waves. One person amplifies truth, another advocates for a neighbor, and together, a movement takes shape. We've seen this throughout history. Ella Baker was one of the great architects of the civil rights movement. You may have never heard of her. She didn't chase the spotlight. Instead, she motivated others to make a difference. When students staged sit-ins in Greensboro, Baker encouraged them to form the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee so that their courage would not remain a moment, but would become a movement. When others said only charismatic leaders could drive change, Baker said, strong people don't need strong leaders. This quote reflects her philosophy of grassroots organizing, empowering individuals to find their own voices and lead themselves rather than relying on centralized power. She advocated for a collective model of leadership where people discover their own strengths and decision-making capacity, arguing that the wisdom for change comes from those most affected by oppressive systems. She believed in ordinary people like us working together, discovering their own strength. Baker carried lessons from decades of organizing, and she passed them to a new generation. She knew the courage of one group could become the foundation for the next. And she reminded us, bigotry and hate are undone, not by one savior, but by communities of people across generations, building together for justice. And none of us must do this alone. We have each other. We are together in a vibrant, caring community. At the Ethical Society, humanism in action looks like joining together in projects, service, and shared learning. It looks like clubs and teams where people connect their values to meaningful action, and in doing so, strengthen both themselves and the community around them. We have groups that serve, like the Good Deeds team, creating opportunities to give back to our neighbors through food drives, cemetery cleanups, and other acts of care. We have groups that discover and support, like the Tuesday Women Association, exploring local organizations, and then giving back to worthy causes. And we have groups that build relationships, like the Humanist Hangouts and the Ethical Ladies. They gather around shared experiences and connection, build friendships, and have fun. That's important too. And there are so many more. There are too many to name. Here's a snapshot of the full list of opportunities where you can connect your passions with purpose. Thank you to Bear for this video. It really shows you how active we are. I want to invite you for just a moment to imagine yourself in one of these groups. Imagine sitting in a circle, talking with others about what matters most to you, and feeling your own ideas deepen because of their perspectives. Imagine standing shoulder to shoulder at a service project, doing something concrete to make the world better, and knowing you're making an impact. Imagine singing or laughing or learning together and feeling that spark of belonging, that reminder that your life is tied to the lives around you. And if you can't imagine yourself in any of these groups, then start your own. If nothing else, being in community can help us cope through the chaos. As humanists, resilience is not waiting for some deity to save us. It's sustaining each other. It's building communities where people can rest, recover, and still belong. Our voice inspires another. One simple act of courage multiplies, and what begins as a drop becomes a wave, because we do it together. Humanism is a big tent. It welcomes those from many paths: atheists, agnostics, spiritual people, seekers, artists and scientists, activists and parents, free thinkers of every kind. If you are committed to dignity and truth, you belong here. Belonging doesn't mean conformity. It means you bring your whole self, your doubts, your convictions, your creativity, your questions, and discover what makes you have value for the whole community. Some of us come to the Ethical Society seeking a place to raise children with compassion. Some come looking for friendship or joy. Some come looking for justice. Others simply come for a safe space to breathe. And every single one of those reasons is valid and important. Because humanism is not about what you believe. It's about what you practice. It's about connection, responsibility, and action. It's about discovering that no matter where you are on your humanist journey, there is a role for you here, and we need you. Because freedom doesn't just threaten our democracy, because fascism doesn't just threaten our democracy, it threatens people. It thrives when we are silent, scattered, and afraid. That's why we need everyone, every ethical act, every moment of kindness, every voice raised in solidarity. Fascism counts on our silence. Hope counts on our participation. And the Ethical Society is where that participation begins and continues. We stand together when fear tells us to hide. This community is our training ground for courage, our shelter in the storm, and our launching pad for ethical action. I began by admitting that I am afraid, but my hope is stronger than my fear. We have each other, and that's enough. As ethical culturist John Lovejoy Elliott said, "I have known many good people who did not believe in God, but I have never known a human being who was good who did not believe in people. And I believe in us. This community gives me hope. Thank you.
I don't think we could have heard a more pertinent message. Do you? Let's have her another hand. Each week, our mission comes alive, not just in words, but in action. As a humanist-centered congregation, we affirm the worth of every person and recognize that each of us brings unique strengths and interests to our shared mission. By working together, we create a community where ethical culture becomes a catalyst and a foundation to translate motive and intention into action. On the screen, you will see a QR code, I hope. This QR code will link simple checklists featuring a full list of ways to get involved at the Ethical Society. There is no commitment today. Simply select everything that interests you. Our lay leaders and staff will follow up with more information so you can learn how your interests might lead to the creation of more meaning for you as well as for the community. Whether it's music, youth service, or behind-the-scenes support, there is a place for you here. Please take a moment now to scan the code. Oh, there we go. And select the areas that resonate with you and help us to continue building a humanist-centered congregation that is meaningful to you. At a time when the world needs active communities steeped in ethically based values, this is one method each of us can contribute to creating the type of world in which we would like to live. Thank you for helping us turn ethics and intention into action. The Ethical Society is a humanist community dedicated to inspiring ethical living, nurturing lifelong learning, and working together for a more just and compassionate world. Everything we do is made possible by the generosity of our members and friends through pledges and donations. At this time, our ushers will begin passing out our collection baskets. As you know, many of our members give both online and or through an annual pledge. And if that's your method, thank you so very much. And extra thanks to members who also, in addition to their annual pledge, donate both by the collection basket as well as their annual pledge. For those who want to provide support today, the baskets are a simple way to join in. You can also give anytime at ethicalstl.org/donate or by scanning the QR code on the screen. Every gift, no matter what the size, helps advance our shared mission of personal growth and community connection. If you're visiting today, by the way, or want to learn more about us, please stop by the Visitors Connect table after platform. This table is located downstairs in the Becker Room. We'd love to meet with you. And don't forget to explore our library downstairs where you'll find resources on ethical culture, humanism, and our programming themes. You're welcome to take a book home with you today. Now for announcements, and we have quite a few and a couple of special announcements today. We're going to start with one on behalf of the Board of Trustees by Chris Lacoste. Chris, can you come on up? And Chris will be followed by an announcement by our Board of Trustees President, Mary Ann Perkins.
For those of you who don't know me, my name is Chris Lacoste. I was elected to serve on the Board of Trustees back in May. At that time, both when I was reached out to by the nominating committee and elected, I had expected to be able to fill those responsibilities to my fullest and, best. But that's not really the case. A lot has changed, and there's been things in my personal life that have been adding up, and I have not been addressing them for a long time. And I can't give my best. I can't do what I want to do for this society right now. And to be honest, it sort of sucks. I like helping people. I like doing things. I like serving. I like growing communities, and I expected to fulfill that commitment, but that is not the case. I reached out to Marianne a few weeks ago to tell her I was planning to resign from the board, and I would do such when a replacement was found. So thank you for placing your trust in me for these past few months. I had nothing but good experiences and gained a great deal of respect for the other board members. I mean, they're amazing. They are really great. And just so you know, every decision to make, there's lots of thought put into it, and I just truly respect the minds that you guys, work with here. So I just want you to know this isn't about ethical. My resignation is very much about me. I'm tired, and I need to focus on myself for once before this sort of keeps happening. And it's the right thing for me right now, so that's all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Ann Perkins. I'm the current president of the Board of Trustees. On behalf of all of the trustees, I just really want to thank Chris. Thank you for serving with us. Thank you for accepting the nomination of the nominating committee. As a community, I think we need to allow each other to change our minds. And there's nothing to apologize for that. There's nothing to be ashamed of. And I just thank you for knowing what was right for you and communicating that to us. We reached out to the past nominating committee and talked amongst ourselves, and we're very pleased to announce that we have appointed a replacement for Chris. Many of you already know Kathy Schrank. She will be joining the board, and we're so happy to be serving with her. She's not here today, but when you see her, give her a pat on the back and say thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, both Chris and Marianne. I broke it. We also have a special update for the leader search task that's ongoing, and Kathy Pickard is going to come up and make an announcement.
As most of our members are aware, the Board of Trustees has made supporting the search for a new professional leader one of its top goals for this program year. And as many of you also know, we have been operating pretty smoothly in, albeit uncharted waters, since our last certified leader departed. For the past few months, the Leader Search Task Force has been doing background work, speaking to a number of people in the wider humanist community, seeking information, resources, and support in advance of the active phase of our search. At this point, we turn our focus inward to find out what's on the minds of our members. We will be providing 2 different opportunities for members to weigh in. First, facilitated conversations, and second, a survey specifically focused on leader competencies. I'm here this morning to invite you to participate in one of these upcoming in-person conversations, which will be taking place after platform on the next 2 Sundays, September 21st and 28th. The survey will follow at a later date. The purpose of these in-person sessions will be threefold. First, to allow members to ask questions and to get the best answers the board and task force are currently able to provide. Second, to allow members to express their desires regarding leadership while listening to what fellow members are hoping for. And third, to help the board better understand what members collectively want and need from a future leader in order to help them prioritize resources, both human and financial. We are asking members to register in advance for one of these 2 dates so that we can deploy our facilitators effectively and plan for the number of lunches we need to provide. There, good. Please use the QR code on the screen or published in the current weekly connection email to sign up. We hope members will avail themselves of this very important opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Speaking of membership-related events, Thursday, September 25th, the Board of Trustees will host a special membership meeting called by the member petition on September 25th at 6:30 here in the auditorium. The topic is the Society's process for adopting official statements as a society as a whole. There's an artist reception today. As you know, we have art exhibits both in our foyer and our corridors throughout the year. And one Sunday, the artist joins us for a reception, and today is the reception for this exhibit. It starts at 12:30 and extends till 2 o'clock. The Good Deeds team invites you to participate in our first annual Ethical Society of St. Louis Day at Greenwood Cemetery on Saturday morning, October 4th. For carpoolers, we will leave the Ethical Society lot at 8:30. Those driving on their own can meet us at Greenwood at 9 a.m. We'll have a history of Greenwood presentation, then do some weeding, trimming, lopping off, and whatever is needed for a couple of hours. We'll finish with a bring your own picnic lunch on the grounds. See the weekly connection for more details or contact Clark Hoteling. Please RSVP on the Facebook event page or by talking with Clark. Service Sunday is coming up. An annual Ethical Society tradition will occur on October 26th. We are partnering with multiple nonprofits to collectively do good in the world on that particular day. We will pack warming kits for both Power for STL and Atheist Alliance Helping the Homeless to distribute to the unhoused individuals this winter. Please donate thick socks, hand warmers, and a supply of warming kits. Our goal is 400 pairs of socks and nearly 200 hot hands. Please contribute by buying these items and adding to the bin at the downstairs stairwell near the west entry door, which is in the back here, or by ordering from the Amazon wish list found in the weekly email. Thank you in advance for your generosity and commitment. Questions, please forward to Crystal White. Today's the day. In the Hankey Room after platform from 12 to 1. We're having an Exploring the Ethical Society and an opportunity to connect, engage, and find community and learn about different ways to engage at the Ethical Society that may feel right for you. New members, long-term members, you're all welcome to come, and we hope to see you in the Hankey Room after platform, and that is today. We're excited to launch a new vibrant member-led activity group called Thrive Together. The group is dedicated to promoting lifelong wellness through mindfulness, physical well-being, creativity, and connection. Each week, they'll explore activities that matter for the mind, body, and soul. Whether you're looking to start a healthier routine, explore your creativity, or simply connect with like-minded people, this is a group for you. Join us in the youth group room every Wednesday from 5:45 to 7 p.m. If you'd like to answer questions, reach out to Vishant Sharma if you'd like to get involved. Let's see if I've got any more in here. Special thanks to Larry Dorison and the Caring team for providing us the opportunity to connect at the Ice Cream Social just a few weeks ago. More than 100 people participated and were able to simultaneously enjoy both great conversation and a summer treat. If you'd like to stay connected with the life of the Ethical Society, use the QR code on the screen. One is for our weekly email newsletter, and the other is for ways to get involved. Our newsletter features upcoming events, community news, and includes an involvement link member-driven initiatives, from collaborating on programs to connecting through social groups, all helping us build a vibrant, welcoming community. We hope you'll find a way to engage that feels meaningful to you. Announcements are over, and we're ready for our third musical selection. So let's welcome Hannah Fry and Michaela Talashek back to the stage for one final piece. They're going to perform Duo in C Major by Jean Sibelius, a bright and spirited piece that celebrates energy, interplay, and joy between the instruments. Thank you so much, Hannah and Michaela. And thank you all for being here today. Thank you for showing up for one another and for helping us to continue this new season. This morning, Louise reminded us that when fear and division threaten democracy, humanism calls for us to a different path, one rooted in dignity, truth, and kindness. Each of us has a role to play in resisting authoritarianism and strengthening our communities with courage, consistency, and compassion. After platform, we hope you'll join us downstairs for coffee hour. On the tables, you'll find coloring sheets and card decks, simple ways to reflect on today's values and spark conversation with those around you. Be sure to also stop by the swag table with Claire and Bear. Wearing a t-shirt, sipping from a tumbler, or putting a magnet on your car is more than fun. It's a way to proudly display your values and serve as a visible ambassador for humanism in St. Louis. Downstairs, there's a table designated as the Continuing Conversation Table. You can dive deeper in today's theme, share your thoughts, and connect with others about how humanism and ethical culture can respond to the challenges we face. Also downstairs is our library. Again, it's full of resources on humanism and ethical culture and today's programming themes. If you're visiting, please stop by the visitors table so we can welcome you personally. However you spend your day, the rest of your afternoon, may you carry forward the courage and the compassion that make humanism such a powerful response to fear and uncertainty. And finally, let's conclude with a paraphrased message from Felix Adler. If the world in which you live is not the way you want it to be, apply kindness in a way that elicits the best in the human spirit. Thank you all. I hope to see you downstairs.